From genetic manipulation in plants and animals to experiments on humans, science has been responsible for many significant advances, but it has also been criticized for unethical and dangerous experiments. In this video, we'll dive into some of the most controversial genetic experiments and examine the implications of this research. Be prepared to be shocked and surprised. Welcome to Let Me Tell You, where today we will talk about a controversial and intriguing topic: the most controversial genetic experiments ever carried out. Since the discovery of the structure of DNA, scientists have studied ways to manipulate human genetics, opening the door to incredible advances in medicine, but also causing controversy. Let's explore some of the more controversial experiments and their implications. Dolly cloning. The Dolly cloning experiment sparked a huge debate about the ethics of cloning, which is still ongoing. Cloning can be used to reproduce rare animals in danger of extinction, but it can also be used to create human clones. The debate over human cloning is complex, involving questions of identity, personality, and the possibility of eugenics. Some argue that cloning can be used to create superhumans with enhanced abilities, while others argue that doing so would be unfair and discriminatory. Baby gene therapy. Gene therapy is a medical technique that uses genes to treat or prevent disease. The CRISPR gene editing technique was used to create the genetically modified baby in China, which has raised questions about the ethical limits of gene editing technology. Gene editing can be used to correct genetic disorders, but it can also be used to create babies with specific physical traits or enhanced abilities. There are concerns about the possibility that the technology could be used to create perfect human beings or for the purposes of eugenics. Tuskegee trial. The Tuskegee trial is considered one of the greatest human rights compliances in the history of medicine. During the trial, African American men with syphilis were led untreated, even after penicillin treatment became available. The men were never told of their condition and were left to suffer with the disease until they died. The experiment sparked a debate about the importance of human rights in medical research and led to the implementation of new regulations to protect patients' rights. Joseph Mengele experiment. The Joseph Mengele experiment is an extreme example of medical abuse in the name of science. Mengele performed experiments on twins, pregnant women, and people with physical anomalies in concentration camps during World War II. He inflicted pain and suffering on his victims, often killing them in the process. Mengele's experiments were condemned as immoral and inhumane. Eugenics experiment. The eugenics movement was a belief that human genetics could be improved by carefully selecting parents to produce superior offspring. The practice included policies of forced sterilization of people deemed undesirable. Eugenics was controversial and awaited in many countries. Practice handling questions about people's right to have children and the role of the state in regulating reproduction. Cold War experiment. During the Cold War, the United States conducted medical experiments on human subjects without their knowledge or consent as part of its biological weapons research program. A notable example was the plutonium exposure experiment, in which cancer patients were injected with plutonium to study its effects on the body. These experiments generated great controversy and led to the implementation of new regulations to protect patients' rights and ban research without consent. Animal experiments. Animal research is a highly controversial topic in science, especially when it involves the use of animals for drug and chemical testing purposes. While some argue that research on animals is necessary to ensure the safety of humans, others argue that it is cruel and inhumane. The debate over the use of animals in research has led to greater regulation and the development of alternatives to animal research. Human experiments in the Vietnam War. During the Vietnam War, the United States conducted experiments on prisoners of war and American soldiers to test the effectiveness of chemical weapons. These experiments involved exposure to sarin gas and other chemicals, causing permanent damage to many of the participants. The experiments were widely condemned and led to new regulations and restrictions on human research. Genetic manipulation in plants and animals. Genetic manipulation in plants and animals is a rapidly expanding field in modern science. While the technology can be used to improve agricultural productivity and disease resistance, there are concerns about the technology's environmental and public health effects. Genetic manipulation can lead to unknown impacts on biodiversity and can be harmful to human and animal health. The debate over genetic manipulation continues to evolve, with regulations and guidelines constantly being updated. We hope this video has provided valuable information and perspectives on an important and controversial topic. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the Let Me Tell You channel and turn on notifications to receive updates on our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.